The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors. Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young in June. We are rolling through 2025 like gangbusters, and I have an awesome show tonight with a lovely fellow podcaster up in the Great White North in Ontario, Canada. And we're going to talk to her tonight and hear her story. But before we get to her, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have Blue Stem Natives in Norwell, a woman-owned plant nursery. We have on the Barry Dance Studio in Norton. I hope I pronounced it right. They're in Norton. That's B-A-R-R-E. We have Lynch's Towing, Auto, Cycle, and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy there is always in search of new scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He handles it all in Brockton. We have Johnny Macaroni's Restaurants, 3 great locations, 2 in East Bridgewater, 1 in Halifax. We have Brian's Barbershop in Kingston. We have Rose Jewelers in Kingston. We have the Hometown Bakery in Mansfield. We have Plymouth County Power Sports in Middleborough. We have Bogey's Indoor Golf in Norton, featuring virtual courses, driving range, golf leagues, private tee times, private lessons, memberships, parties and events, food and beverage. We have New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Pal's Driving School in Middleborough, setting up classes for August and October. Better check that website. We have Anthony Cycles in Middleborough. We have Vineyard Farm in West Bridgewater. We have Wicked Peaceful Mind, Body, and Soul in Plainville. We have the Mansfield Boxing Club in Norton. We have Furnace Brook Motors in 2 locations in South Easton and now in Norton. We have Grip It and Rip It Sports Trading Cards in West Bridgewater. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have the Shinek Auto Body and Repair Shop in Lakeville. We have Dirty Paws Pet Grooming in Easton. We have the Executive Barbershop in Northeastern. They're in Norton. We have Tom Auto in Middleborough. We have One Good Credit in Brockton. We have the Riverside Cafe in Wareham, open 6 days a week, all except Wednesdays, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They have the best breakfast in Boston and the Cape, and they have DoorDash delivery. We have Curtis Car Care in Middleborough. We have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation, removal of quartz and granite. We have Doggy Boutique, all-breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We have Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have Mockingbird Music in Southeastern. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington on Route 58. We have Eli's Auto Care in Taunton. We have Haven Psychiatric Services right here in the building in room 211. We have Evan Young Realty, that's my brother, the realtor, and we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now Jasmine Bootle, a lovely lady. She's a podcaster. Are you a writer as well? Did you write a book? I thought I heard you say you did.
No, I actually make it's a program for homeless, and it's a resource brochure. So it's not quite a book, it's a brochure of all the resources that anyone who's homeless would need to find anything that they want or need. It's a brochure where it says where you can shower, where you can find food, where you can find medical help, psychiatric help, all that good stuff, So it's not a book, it's a homeless kind of
It's a guide for the homeless. All right, now and it's up in Ontario, and that's where you are. In Canada. Okay, yeah, you're like the second or third show to Canada we've done this year. Okay. All right, so you help the homeless people, you deal with people with addictions too, right?
Yeah.
And were you one yourself before? Because I just thought that's what we did discuss this, but you took. All right. Well, let's talk about, your childhood. How you got you where you were at now? I know you have a couple of children, right? That are
Yeah, I have a 5 and an 8-year-old.
okay. I knew they were young. Okay. Well, let's I do this with every guest. I try to profile them going back to their childhood. Tell me what you were like as a child. Tell me everything you can tell me, and we'll take it from there. And I'll ask questions as I see fit. So go ahead.
Okay, so I was alone with my mother a lot because my father worked, and my mom, she just expected me to be a perfect child. So I held a lot of anxiety as a child. I was afraid of other children. If I said or did something my mother didn't like, she'd wait till we were alone and she would chastise me. So I didn't want to talk to anybody or play necessarily because I was afraid I was going to get chastised later for doing it wrong. So as a child I was really anxious, but I also, because I'm small and I was quiet, was a huge target of bullying, which just made the anxiety 10 times worse. I, throughout my school years, had only a few friends. Due to the fact of the bullying, nobody wanted to hang out with me because they'd get picked on too. So it was just basically a cycle of constantly being anxious was my childhood.
Wow. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Wow. Are you an only child, or do you have siblings?
Yeah, I'm an only child.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something right off the bat. In a way, I know it sounds crazy, but you were actually lucky because if you'd had brothers and sisters, if sometimes they pick up on, I know it sounds awful, but if a child is being bullied, siblings can pick up on it, and oftentimes they turn on that sibling. My brother was kind of like that with me when I was a kid. I got bullied a lot too, and he was socially interactive with the kids in the neighborhood, and all I was picked on for being fat, which I was at the time, which I'm certainly not anymore. And so he went along with it, and he made it worse. So to say, I know that it sucks what you went through, but I'm just telling you, it could have been a lot worse. And obviously, it looks like you've changed and you've come out of that. Now, is that true? Is that still the same today, or it seems like you
Uh,
got you got your head on, you got everything going well for now, right? Are you telling me?
well, what happened to me was my parents separated when I was about 19, and I
Okay,
stayed with my dad. So my dad not being as just intense as my mom, and allowing me a lot more freedom and stuff like that
right.
really helped with the anxiety and really helped me with the social aspect because everybody liked him. He was one of those people that you just couldn't not like. So I learned a lot from being able to spend time with him that I hadn't had before, which when I look back to my personality before I lived with my dad, and then after, I can see the change. So I know that my mother's influence had a huge stronghold on me. Even today, she's the only person that can get me like that, like really freaked out, really anxious, really worried about something, just with a look because of just our dynamic, I suppose. She scared the shit out, or scared the crap out of me.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I understand. Okay. Well, now look at now. This is an interesting parallel. So when you were 19, you moved in with your father, and calmed you right down. It sounds like.
Yeah, and the in Canada you can drink at 19, right? So at first, because my mother took absolutely everything, we had only had the house. We didn't have a car. We didn't have barely any money for food. So my dad and I kind of worked together, but but before that we were very stable. I didn't want for anything. So that transition of looking for change on the floor to buy a bag of chips in college um was huge, and it started my alcoholism because I didn't know how to transition. I didn't know how to cope with everything that was going on. My dad was also depressed, so he wasn't stopping me from drinking. He was taking part in it as well. So that's where the drinking aspect started for me, was when my parents separated, because this just sheer shock of how really seeing how evil my mom kind of was to take as much as she did and act the way she does. And it led me to drink, and it also led my father to drink because both of us were kind of like, oh, you're not the person we thought you were. And that's kind of how that began, I suppose. I ended up hitting an 18 wheeler going 90 miles an hour when I was 19. And instead of stopping drinking, my father would take me after court to get a 2-4. So we weren't learning any lessons at that point. And it was still a point where things were just getting worse instead of better with in terms of drinking. But in terms of being social, the alcohol really helped take the anxiety away. Plus, my dad wasn't, you know, he wasn't like my mom, where it's like, you said this and you did that and everything else, right? So I could finally relax and enjoy the people I was around. And that everybody at that time was also drinking a lot. So, because we were 19,
Right.
mine had just gone too far, and that's where the issue lied. I didn't know where to stop where they did, right?
Okay. Well, I'm looking at you, and you're a very pretty woman. Did you ever model at all? I mean, I know it sounds kind of far-fetched given what you're telling me, but have you ever done anything in entertainment, acting, modeling, singing? Just trying to find out. Before we.
Yeah, so in in Toronto there is it's like a pinup girl, right?
Okay.
And they're Toronto Sun. So I was a sunshine girl, which is what they call them, about 5 or 6 times. So I did like bikini modeling.
I can see that. Yeah, I can. You look like you're very fit. Now, what about today? Are you still drinking? A little or not at all?
No, my body can't handle it because I don't. Like it's not like, so because I don't do it. If I do have even like one, I'll feel really sick the next day because it's just something that my body's not used to anymore, right? So
Good. It's good. That's
yeah,
healthy
no, I
for you
don't.
not to drink. That's my
No.
point. That's great. That you don't that you can't do it. That's because you don't want all you're doing is hurting yourself when you do it. So it's better
Well,
this way.
my dad passed away also, and sorry, my cat is being insane. My dad passed away also, and at that point he had had a before that he had a heart attack, gotten sober for about 5 years, and he really disliked my drinking. So when he passed away, it was kind of like, I feel bad if I was to drink because I know it's something that he didn't like, and I feel like I'm letting him down by doing it. So I don't, it really affects me emotionally. I can't do it.
Well, okay. Well, I always say everything happens for a reason, and it sounds like in this case, you get a negative, but you turn it into a positive. Obviously, losing your father sucked, but not drinking is good. So because
Yeah.
if that's what motivates you, did you say you went to college, right?
Oh, I'm still in college.
Oh, you are. Where do you go?
I go to Fanshawe right now for accounting.
Okay.
I originally went to school for advertising, but I was drinking too much and wasn't necessarily super successful. I've taken lots of different courses. I've mostly worked in for 20 years in the hospitality industry, either as a manager of the front of the house, or a server, or a bartender. But I've always gone to school as well because I'm one of those people that haven't quite found exactly what it was I wanted to do. So I just keep going back as I go along, you know?
Okay. All right. So I don't know what that college is. Now you have a podcast. When did you start that?
I started that in March, I would say. Maybe end of February, beginning of Marchish. That's, yeah, I'd say probably in between the very end of March, very end of February, very beginning of March.
Okay. And
Yeah.
basically, what's the premise of the podcast?
The premise of the podcast, it's called Everyone is Addicted. And the premise of it is, I live in an opiate crisis. I like to do crisis because it's a crisis town, right? But my daughter's father is the biggest reason why I started it was because he shoots up fentanyl, and he was in the hospital. He almost passed away, and then he left the ICU without them letting him go. He just left. And so I thought to myself, you know what? People don't truly understand that everyone is addicted. It's not just the addict, it's the people around the addict, and they don't get a voice a lot of the time. Plus, a lot of people, when they look at somebody that's homeless, they think, oh, look at that scum, like that person's scum of the earth, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like that person woke up that like one day, like as a child, and was like, my dream is to be an addicted homeless person, you know? So I know that they're real people, and that I try to aim to bring understanding to that aspect through either some, on my podcast I'll have like clinicians that work in the field. I have people who have recovery success stories, and then family members that come on, just so that you can kind of see it from all angles if you have never been exposed to it, so that maybe you wouldn't treat somebody so bad that day, you know? Or maybe it would help take the stigma away for just one person, you know,
Wow.
or make people feel not alone.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, you're good at helping people. Now, you're obviously not homeless, right? I wouldn't think. I
Um, yeah, I actually am homeless.
really. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Who takes care of your kids?
I'm staying with my in-laws right
Oh,
now. So,
okay. I think you told me that. Okay. Well,
yeah.
all right. Well, look, what's great is that you got people that love you in your life, which is awesome. And you're doing something really well, for the community. And you can't really do any better than that right now, at least for the time being. And my guess is that I have a hunch based on what you're telling me. Your history is that things are going to turn around for you, and you're going to find yourself doing things that are even better than you ever expected. About a year ago, you probably didn't see yourself doing a podcast, did you?
No, a year ago I had a business reading tarot cards. So, yeah, no.
Oh, really? You're reading tarot? How did you learn? How do you do? Do you do that at all just for fun?
I I had a business where I did all kinds of divination. I've known how to read tarot cards since I was like 13. Palms, numerology,
Yeah, yeah.
pendulums, all that kind of stuff. But I decided that I would prefer to go back to school due to this situation that's going on right now.
Right.
I decided to put that business to bed, go back to school for accounting, where it's something that I can financially provide much better for my family and never end up in a situation like this ever again.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. I'm just wondering. It sounds to me when you do your podcast, I take it you counsel a lot of people, right? Do you have people calling in, or do you have guests like I do, or how
Yes.
does that work?
So basically I have an app
Okay.
that matches me with people. I can choose yes or no by their description. I also go on those podcast guests like things, post
Social
what
media.
my what yeah, social media, and on the groups, the podcast groups. I post what my podcast is about, and then people come to me. And as I've done it, as I've gotten bigger, people just reach out to me all the time about it.
I
So
know. I'm one of the
I,
ones that reached out to you. That's how come you're doing my show. Remember? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. How
yeah.
often? Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I also had the local TV station had me do a documentary. I found somebody on TikTok who wanted me to be a part of their book, a part of the study of some of the psychology behind addiction, just because I know so much about addiction at this point. And then I also have an upcoming television show of my own coming out. They aren't quite sure, the showrunners on vacation, but probably in August.
Well, look at this. Now you're going from being from the depths of despair to the pinnacle of pleasure, of delight, because you're doing so many, you're becoming a star in your own right there in tiny Ontario.
Yeah. Well, you
Wow.
know what I used to say when I was picked on? I was like, well, they put so much time and effort into the things they do to me when I don't even cross their mind. So I must be special.
Well, you know what it is. You are special, and living well is the best revenge. Because I'm doing the same thing. I get picked on too every day. And even today, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty paranoid of the people around me. Not so much here at the TV station. Everybody's great here. But every time I go out, I always expect something bad to happen to me. And I'm 65 and a half now. No, a lot of people bother me when I walk. I don't like being bothered. People say, how you doing? I don't like it when someone says, how you doing? Leave me alone. If you want to talk about my show, fine. Other than that, or if you want to have it, if you're a beautiful woman and you want to date, fine. That's not paid for, then we'll talk to me. So that's my take on it. So I totally get that. All right. So you're obviously doing pretty well for the time being. And as far as whenever you have to get whatever it takes to get you back on your feet, now you're saying you're airing this TV show? Is it on Toronto, on a Toronto station, or somewhere else, or what?
So it's on Rogers Television across Canada.
Okay, wow.
Rogers is our main our main communications
Network.
platform network. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. It was the first one as well. And if it does well, I might be able to get on Crave as well, because Rogers owns Crave. It
Sweet.
just depends on how the show runs.
Okay. Well, so what are you doing? How are you manifesting it currently? What are you doing with that? People are interviewing you? Are you interviewing people? Is it like a reality show where people can see you during your daily life? Is that it? Is that how it works?
I'm going to interview people about resources on sobriety, because the city I live in, and even all across Canada, there's not that many options. Basically, it's rehab, detox, meetings, right?
Yep.
And there's a million other ways. But a lot of people, that's what keeps them scared to get sober, because they're scared of, like, maybe they want to do it themselves. Maybe they have a job that's a clinician themselves. They don't want you to see them. So basically, it's me interviewing people that can provide different resources than what is typically known, so that if you were looking to get sober, then you would be able to find your fit, because I don't think one size fits all with that kind of thing.
Right.
And that way I can bring them resources that would suit their needs, opposed to what we're told, those three things, right?
Okay. Well, obviously, you've obviously found a big niche for yourself, and I expect a lot of people are really happy that you're there for them. You were there for a lot of people, and I got to tell you, it sounds to me like what you're doing now is probably way more beneficial to the public than reading their tarot cards.
Yeah, my mom even said, she's like, stop doing that tarot. And I'm like, Mom, I haven't done it in months. Like, why are you yelling at me about something I don't even do anymore? I don't even have my cards. They took them.
Well, just listen. I know I don't want to get too personal, but are you getting along better with your mother than you did when you were living with her, or trying to at least?
Oh yeah. Living with her is very difficult, because like I said, she's also a closet drinker. So the problem with that is,
Oh yeah.
you never know if she's sober or not. And she still has that personality that she's the victim, and every little thing you do is something that's wrong. If you set a fork down, she'll move it 3 inches, because it's not where she wanted it to be. So she's got her own issues. I grew up and I realized, not like as a child, I didn't understand this, but as an adult, I realized that she has her own past traumas and her own issues, and she's her own person. So I have to understand I've made my own mistakes as an adult as well. And so I forgive her for all those things. I just can't be with her for a very long period of time, or else we're going to start arguing.
Yeah, I understand. No, I mean that makes perfect sense, and it sounds to me like you've opened your heart up, and that's great. I mean, you've done so much, and I'm sure at some point there are going to be people that they're going to say, "Oh, I remember Jasmine as a kid. She's done a complete 180 since then. Look at her now." And look at, and so many, and there's going to be no way of disputing that because you're proving it every day now.
Well, even like in the situation that I'm in now, like a lot of people would have relapsed because it's really, really, really stressful. And the whole premise behind it's stressful. The waiting's stressful. They did things they weren't supposed to do. And so many people would relapse. And I didn't do that. I stayed strong because I knew it would just make it worse. And that is something that I take as pride throughout everything in my life. The fact that this is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, even worse than losing my father, and I have not drank. So I can say that that is probably the proudest moment of my life and the worst time of my life, I guess.
Okay, well, you know something, Jasmine? Guess what? We're in the final 5 minutes of the show. I hope you had fun talking to me. I hope we covered as much about you as we could. So
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you. You're an amazing guest. You blew me away with your story, and that's kind of and as awful as some of it is, we still go for ratings here. I admit that. All right, maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but I enjoy having good ratings, and you're gonna skyrocket mine, and I hope I skyrocket yours as well. So,
I appreciate it. Yeah. There's a lot more to the story. If we had more time, you'd be like, woohoo.
so Jasmine, listen, what I want you to do in the remaining time, first of all, I want you to give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because a lot of people are. Just, condense them, and then we'll wrap the show up with my snap and the way we began it.
Okay, so I would like to shout out to one of my first guests, Fred Mandrakia. You're doing good. I know that things aren't good right now, but keep going. And I know it looks bleak. You're kind of in the same situation as me. Just keep pushing. Your wife loves you, and things are going to get better. I know they are, because things can't stay bad forever. And also, I will shout out to my dad for everything that he taught me and everything that he did for me and everything that he gave me in this world. And I will shout out my children because they have been extremely resilient in really, really difficult and challenging times. And last but not least, I'll shout out my in-laws for allowing us to stay here and putting up with us in our time of need.
Well, that's fantastic.
So,
Yeah, that's golden. I love it. Okay, now the other thing a couple of things. Is there anything coming up on the horizon for you that you want to mention in the next few weeks or months? I always ask every guest this because I want to make sure that they don't overlook anything. If not, that's fine, but I just double check on that.
I'm not sure when my documentary comes out. So, in the next few weeks, nothing too major. I would say in a couple months, my documentary comes out. It is
It is
about the
major,
city of,
though. That's very major.
but it's about the opioid crisis in Brantford, Ontario. But
Okay.
I'm not sure of the release date of that yet. But
I
it's
understand. That's
sooner than later. Yeah.
Okay, well, I bet it's going to help a lot of people. All right, the other thing is if you had a good time with me and you know anyone else that might be a great guest for me, send them my way. Give them my digits, have them contact me. We'll get them on the show either by Zoom or in person. I always prefer the in-person interview, but if it's up in Canada, we can certainly do it by Zoom, as we're proving now. And that'll be it. And I'm happy, and I'll be happy to interview them. And
Well, the person I just shouted out, Fred, he lives in Boston, so I may send him to you.
oh, definitely send them to me. Perfect. He might even be able to come in here and do the interview here, which would be great.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And he's rather colorful. He was the polar bear bandit, if anybody from Boston would remember that.
Okay.
He was an MMA fighter that got hurt, and they prescribed him opiates, and then that's how he got addicted. He got sober, and now he wrote a book, and he's just trying to spread that knowledge of how easy it is to get addicted and how to get sober, kind of thing. And
we could have a great discussion if you were here. All right, we're going to wrap the show up. I have a favor to ask for you. Stick around, and my tech guy will take a pic for Facebook, and I'll tag you in it. Are you okay to do that?
Yeah.
All right, you could. I hope you tag me, because that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to wrap the show up. All right, folks, another great episode of Topic Time is wrapping up. So get psyched for another great show next week and the week after and all that. So we're just getting ready for snapping off and rolling out. There we go.
Lighting for ECAT production provided by the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation.